Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of an Ajett conversation. Today, I'm here with yet another affiliate of Interval Audio. His stage name is Fayzd, but I also know him as Aaron. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Now,
It's a Tuesday night right now when we're recording this.
and for you, it's like a school night. So
Yeah, but I stay up late anyways, usually.
okay. So as you probably know by now, we usually ask a couple of questions to anybody that we're interviewing here at the Ajett conversation, and I keep saying we're even though it's just me. But anyway, who are you and where are you from?
Well, I'm Fayzd. I'm also Aaron. I'm from Brooklyn. I was born and raised here, which is great because I'm totally exposed to all forms of music. I see a lot of classic music. I see a lot of contemporary music. A lot of hip hop comes out of here, which really I found a lot of inspiration from. I was actually taught Ableton by an underground hip hop artist. I kind of lost contact with him after he taught me Ableton, but his name was Drew. I don't know what his stage name is at all.
Was it Drew Cymatics?
Man, if that turned out to be Drew Cymatics. Holy shit, I was taught by Drew Cymatics!
Right.
Yeah, I mean, from kind of like that perspective, I feel like I got a huge benefit from growing up in the city because I'm constantly exposed to tons of art and tons of just awesome stuff in general, and it's so easy for me to when I have an artist block or something. It's really easy for me to just simply go out and do stuff, you know. It's great.
I've always seen New York as a very diverse area. It's obviously the Cali of the East Coast, because it's a bunch of different characters and different areas.
I'm not gonna start any beef, but LA ain't shit. I've been to LA, my dude. I walked around there, and the only place that it doesn't look like trash is Hollywood Boulevard, and that's it. Everywhere else is uninteresting as fuck, except for what's it called? That one beach on LA. Let me see. I forgot the name of it. It totally. Oh, Venice Beach. Venice Beach. That's what it was. Yeah, Venice Beach and Hollywood Boulevard are the two only places that are mildly interesting. And only one of those two places do you not find a heroin needle every 2 feet. I must say though, I gotta give California credit. A lot of California is absolutely nice and beautiful. I went to California in I think 2014. Yeah, 2014, because I was there for Coachella, which was great, by the way.
The best legal marijuana, from what I've been told, aside from Colorado.
Colorado's better.
Aside from Colorado, but
no, I mean there's. When I went there, I was still a young boy. I was 14, so I was oh, what is a marijuana? What is a weed?
Right.
What is this green stuff that you put in front of me? It was funny. I knew what it was, but I had no interest in it.
Right.
I still don't really have any interest in it, honestly. Most drugs in general, I'm kind of away from. But anyways, I gotta say though. I almost said San Andreas, dude.
Huh?
Um,
What'd you say?
I almost said San Andreas. I don't know why. But I can't think of California cities right now. What is it? San Francisco. There we go. Not San Andreas. San Francisco. San Francisco is awesome. I was there very, very briefly. It's a really nice area.
I couldn't live in San Francisco mainly because they have like a bunch of hills, and I'm fat, and hills and fat people don't get along well.
Trust me, it's interesting because in the city, I think like over the past, few years, there was a point where I did live in Pennsylvania for a very brief time, but in the entire time I've been in high school, I think I've seen like a fat person like maybe 2-3 times in in New York City, and I'm pretty sure like you could tell that they were like tourists, and like maybe one of those was actually not a tourist, but like the thing is, people are not fat here just simply because of the fact that you walk everywhere.
Right.
It's not hilly, but you do walk everywhere. But
like y'all
anyways,
y'all probably got one of the most complex ass transportation systems in America. And like I thought DC's transportation system was complicated. From what people tell me, like you gotta catch this bus to go to this bus just to go to the Burger King down the street. Like,
nah, like with MTA is actually really good. Like they okay, I'll say this, like on one hand, MTA runs like trash, but on the other hand, it's like you will get to where you need to go very easily.
Yeah, because like we have the MTA in Maryland, but the subway system, that's what I'm talking about mainly. The subway system is so complicated. And because I know that here in Baltimore we have the light rail, and then we got the metro, and those are like two separate things. In the metro, it goes all the way up and then all the way down, and those are the only two metros we got. And the light rail is the same thing. It's like a back and forth system, but y'all gotta catch this metro to go to that metro to go to that metro, and I'm just like I couldn't live in New York without
I think like
Uber.
the thing is, like, I live in Brooklyn, and I have friends that like live in like Queens and stuff like that. The most transfers I've ever had to do was like 3. It's like it's a little bit annoying, but like once you like, the thing is, most trains run on the same schedule in terms of stops. So like if you're transferring on the same stop, it's gonna be like around a 2-minute wait on that stop to transfer to a different train. So it's, I mean, like, plus there's like 1.5 million apps you can use, and oh, there we go. We have the police car coming by. Typical.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah, welcome to New York, actually. But yeah, in general, like, things work really well around here. Like it's pretty direct, and like in every subway car there is a map there that you can just read, and it has all of the subway stations on it.
Right.
And like if you wanted to, there's been people who like, there's one person who managed to visit every single subway stop within like a day, which is wild. I don't think I've been to every single one, but I've been to like most. But like I haven't like been like deep into like Manhattan or the Bronx. So.
Fuck was that?
That was me vomiting at the thought of Bronx. Bronx and Staten Island are the two boroughs that eat shit. Like Bronx is like, you're gonna get robbed. Staten Island is just trash people. Apologies to people who live both there. I'm sorry that you had to grow up there and think that that's a good area.
It's kind of like that in Baltimore, because like literally a corner can make a huge difference. Like one turn, you can be at the inner harbor where all of the friendly people and like everybody is all united and shit and playing Pokemon Go together. Once you hit that corner to Lexington Market, you done. Once you hit that corner to Baltimore Street, it's over. It's a snack wrap. Like, like keep your phone in your pocket, keep your headphones off, be aware of your surroundings, because it's going to go down. It's like literally, you can hit one corner and it's over.
You can get dropped. Thankfully, like, most of New York is generally safe. There's like assholes who will like steal your shit, but that's probably the worst. I think like the worst that ever happened was like, in terms of like one of my friends was like, he dead had like a gun pointed at him and he got pissed off because he had shit to do, so he did just sock this man in the face and fucking moved on with his life while the people was holding a gun to him.
Savage as fuck.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's funny how like New York people just don't give a shit in general.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite things here.
Like they just
People are just chill.
Yeah, they're so used to it. You're just like, do whatever you want.
One time, somebody else tried to actually like mug one of my friends, but he just continued walking because he thought it was a prank or something.
I mean, cause y'all got niggas like OCTV and shit down there. Like the people that the ones that always try to do the pranks in the hood, gone wrong, gone sexual. Like they think that antagonizing black people was like the funniest thing in the world because you get a reaction to how they fight, and that's where all the racist comments lead, and that's how you got people like Joey Salads with the fucking cancerous ass fan base and shit.
Man. Oh, cancerous fan bases, you mean?
Hey guys, Leafy is here, back today with another cringe video.
I can't believe I used to be a fan of Leafy. Like I don't hate him. I mean, he is a dickbag, but I'm more concerned about his fans that, like, because I know they're like young, impressionable children, so they don't know any better.
Yeah,
but
like all of his fans are already like starting to move on from him, so he's already having like he's like dying in terms of like channel and stuff.
Yeah, like after Odd Dubs, after Odd Dubs had fucking.
We just went like off topic for a good 10 minutes.
It happens. It's just, that's what this podcast is. We just shoot the shit. But second question is, what genre or genres of choice do you prefer to produce?
No, I kind of like. I have two answers to this. My first answer is that I really like making stuff that kind of has like future bass or like future vibes to it.
I can tell.
I absolutely love Flume. He is a genius. He's not like personally. I don't think he's the best future bass producer. I think there's many better than him. But he is a genius for the fact that he pioneered the genre more than anybody else, and that he did stuff that people are only doing like 5 years later. You know, like on his debut, the way that he did chord building and synths, and the way he made like used like 7th chords to his absolute advantage, and how he also did like a lot of vocal resampling, a la like Kanye West and stuff like that. Like all of those kind of like separate ideas came together with this sort of trap influence combined with this sort of like jazz influence from like Harlem jazz and New Orleans jazz. Like a lot of those vocal samples he used were from like blues and jazz music.
I feel like
there's all of that.
Like, there's one, I don't know if he's future based, but he does have that chill aesthetic vibe with his music that I feel like he's become very underrated over the past like 3 years. Cashmere Cat.
He's like
it's Cashmere Cat and Loston.
I don't really know Loston, but Cashmere Cat is like I think he's not really future bass. He has like a little bit of that like
chill
funk
trap
vibe going, like that chill stuff. Yeah, like he has a little bit of this like funk vibe going with. I think that's kind of what you're thinking about. But like no, the thing is, what makes Flume very unique is that he is the pioneer of the genre, and a lot of people have moved past that. Like there's like people now. I'll look through my likes right now and like list a few people that like I totally love that have totally done stuff like this. Like Mark Arkinson, he is a genius. I've talked to him a few times. In fact, he for my birthday he gave me like a patch that he made for Ableton. But he just gave it to me. It was great. He used it on like my favorite song from him, Accents. Unfortunately, he took the song down. but he gave me a download for it, and it gave me like a private link to like all of the songs that he's privated. Because like we've just talked a bunch of times. So there's Mark Arkinson. Totally follow him. There's Sweater Beats, though he's getting super popular right now. There's Ramzoid. Trying to think of others like.
I feel like I see Sean Wasabi making more future bass in the future.
The thing is, Sean Wasabi is a performer. He's not really an artist. He does like, it's sort of like, before Madian did Adventure, he was a performer in the same way that right now Sean Wasabi is a performer, even though he does really kind of, he still does very unique stuff with mashups, but it is still mashups, you know? Like, he's creating his own ideas with the mashups, but I don't think he's really going
what
to
about,
his full potential.
not Hot Doggo, or, it's one of my favorite songs by him. It's like, dun 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 dun.
Burn Rice?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Oh yeah, Burn Rice is great. I feel like that, well, like, he still is an artist. I'm not saying that he isn't, like, not an artist, but I feel like he's more so a performer, and he really performs his music rather than making his music for the sake of making music. He makes it more so for the sake of performance.
Right.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. You're totally welcome to do that. And it's the same way where I don't really consider EDM art. Like, EDM's great.
Yeah.
And I've made EDM before, but EDM's entertainment. Like, don't be fooling yourself. EDM is entertainment. There's no way I would ever look at.
But that's the thing, though.
Art.
The thing is, like, everybody
I would never
sees.
look at Marshmello and call it art.
The thing is, like, everybody sees EDM as, oh, it's a culture, it's a community, it's a unity, and honestly, I just see it as what the acronym stands for: electronic dance music. Like, if you use synthesizers to make it on a computer in a DAW, then that makes it electronic music. And it's the same thing with the dickheads that think that, oh, the trap lords, the people that like listen, not EDM trap, but like actual trap and rap music, they think that, oh, that's not real music. That's like, they make that all on computers. I'm like, where the fuck do you think your instrumentals come from, dickhead?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny because a lot of these people like don't realize that most music that you listen to today, whether it be on or off the radio, is produced.
Yeah.
It went through a computer. If not the entire song, at least half of it. You know, at least certainly
it
mastered.
being mixed down and all of that stuff. But people just swear to God that no, my music isn't like that electronic bullshit when it pretty much is.
Yeah, it'd be like that. It's it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of sad that people are kind of ignorant to this as well. I must say, like, there are plenty of people who make electronic music that is absolutely, certainly, without a doubt, art. Porter Robinson's Worlds, Madian's Adventure. I'll go a little bit far off. There's Fortets, there's Love Within You.
With You Friends, Long Drive by Skrillex.
I don't listen to Skrillex very much, so I can't really comment on that. But then there's also like artists that take both electronic and rock. There's artists like Anna Menaguchi, MGMT,
Flying Lotus.
Yeah. There's tons of Tame Impala.
Like, even Kanye West does it from time to time. Like, he's sampled a lot of electronic music.
Yeah, totally. Like when he sampled Daft Punk's Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
He sampled that, and there was that other song, and like, I don't know the name of it, but I know the music video was like this girl, she's dancing and she's like working out at the same time or something like that. It's doom 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 doom. Because like he sampled like an old school deep house track for that one.
Yeah. For me, I would say I don't really listen to Kanye very much, but there's a lot of rappers I do listen to. MF Doom is a given.
Since you live in New York,
Kendrick.
you live in New York, so you
Yeah,
got
I better
Joey.
be listening to.
You
MF.
got Joey Badass. You got Flatbush
yeah,
Zombies.
Joey Badass.
You got Ace. I think you got the whole ASAP Mob. But like,
yeah, ASAP Mob, Flatbush Zombies, bro. There's so many good people out, but like even like classic rappers like MF Doom and Nas, and like all the a lot of the big guys came out of New York. There's a lot of East Coast West Coast rivalry. Like I'll say that like in terms of West Coast stuff, pretty much anybody who came out of like NWA or were inspired by them are pretty great. Like
right.
I'd say in particular like the biggest for me. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he was in NWA, but like Biggie.
Yeah, he wasn't NWA. He was like past that era.
Yeah. He was great. Like all the stuff he did was fantastic, dude. Like I feel like him and MF Doom both have a very similar thing where they had just this fantastic flow. What I find really interesting about MF Doom though is the fact that people don't know who he is.
He sounds familiar to me, but I don't think I entirely know.
MF Doom?
Yeah.
MF Doom is a popular rapper that he came out of New York. He pretty much like in the like early mid 90s he was essentially producing beats, and then he got booked. He was in like correctional for like I think half a year. And when he came out, he had like written like his first album, or at least most of it.
Right.
And then he pretty much put it out in 1999. In fact, he put it out in January. I also have like I have a poster from that album. The album's called Operation Doomsday. It's fantastic. I totally recommend you listen to it if you haven't. But what MF Doom had was he had just this insane sense of flow. Like he could make an entire sentence that rhymes with itself. Like
right.
And he both told amazing stories, but also used his abilities in the most ridiculous ways where he would almost like, because MF Doom stands for Metal Face, and he referred to himself as a supervillain, and he kind of uses his abilities almost in the same way supervillain would, simply for this like power and just having fun playing around with people. It's really interesting how he kind of goes around with that.
Right. But if it was like any rapper that I would want to have on the show, it would definitely be between ASAP Rocky and Joey Badass.
Yeah, Joey Badass is such a great, like he's such an awesome dude. Like he not only has he proven himself to be an amazing rapper with like Christ Conscious. Christ Conscious is one of my favorite rap songs of all time. That's just such a well put together song, but also like how he was on Mr. Robot, that was fantastic, dude.
Yeah, my favorite
his acting
song,
skills are great.
My all-time favorite song by him has to be the song that he did with Rory called I hate that I can't remember the names of these songs, but I know how to go. It's like the one, and it's the old to the worst of my days. I've been working away, but the sky's been looking so gray. Sometimes I really need to get away. I think it's called like Run, or
Is it On and On?
No, it's like it's with him and Rory. Also, Rory's a really good artist, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, I know that song's on Badass.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can't. I'm not sure.
Also,
I think it actually might be on.
Escape 120.
Escape 120. Oh, okay.
But yeah, like that's my favorite song because like
Oh yeah.
with I feel like we're in a generation where like there's this as in since like 2014 ish, there's been a lot of like younger artists that know how to emulate old school sound and like emulate
Totally.
like yeah, and like because I'm seeing Rory and like he's like a reincarnation of Andre 3000. Kali Uchis, she oh my god, like Kali Uchis have my children, but she is like the reincarnation of Amy Winehouse, and I'm not even bullshitting on that one. She's like, she can hit like she's like Amy Winehouse level, and then Childish Gambino's recent album is like,
that's not rap though. It's just like straight up soul, my dude.
That's what I mean. That's what I was talking about. Like artists, like we have a lot of younger artists coming back that can recreate, like, and emulate old school sound. And we used to play some of the songs from the album, from Childish Gambino's album at my job. Because, like, you know, like, for some reason, thrift shops bring in old people. And, like, we used to play a bunch of soul and Motown. Like, we'd play Redbone, and they say, like, ooh, I never heard this song before. And I'm just like, yeah, because it just came out. And
Redbone is beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm listening to, like a 60s record, you know?
Yeah,
honestly, I listen to
I
that record and I'm like, this belongs on vinyl, my dude.
I honestly don't like how it sounds live because he doesn't have the auto-tune that fits with the voice that he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like some of the stuff that like he does on that album takes a lot of like really heavy editing that he puts on his voice and stuff. But I think that's respectable because he's doing that for the style, not because he isn't talented. He can obviously sing.
And like the only pop song that I like as of right now that I can truly appreciate at the moment is 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars, because I love that song. I love that 80s style and like the auto-tune that they used to do back in the day, and I want to create that sound so fucking bad and that it hurts. Like the fact that he even got like Kool and the Gang to like do this track with him, like that just made it all better, like all the worthwhile.
Yeah, totally. I gotta say, like, I don't really listen to much pop though. Like I can respect if you listen to it and whatnot, but I don't listen to it very much. Most of the stuff I listen to
like
is...
the only reason I know that song is
I just listen to like hipster trash.
Yeah, like the only reason I know that song is because of work. Like, because that's all we usually play. We either one day we'll play soul and Motown, and then the next day we'll play pop music. And that was the only song that really stood out for me when I was working there.
Yeah.
Let me go on.
Yeah. Do you wanna? Or I guess let's just go on to.
That's what I was about to do. Okay, question 3. What got you into production and DJing? I don't think you DJ, right? Or you do?
No, I don't DJ. I don't have like a table or anything. I would like to learn eventually.
Right. Just saying, but you have Control Freak lives in New York. He lives in Long Island, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So like, and he's a pretty cool DJ. He's younger than like all of us. I think he's like the youngest person, but he's not an interval. But like out of my production collective, like he's been DJing since like he was like 7 or 8 years old.
Damn. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I never really got very much, but I also never really asked for very much, like, as a kid. And so, I mean, the most I've ever gotten was, okay, so the reason why I started getting into it was, there's a few different things. So I want to say that the number one credit in terms of actual people is Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like,
Silu.
Yeah, Silu.
Oh, that's how he
pronounces it.
I've been saying Silu for like years.
Well, you've been corrected. But anyways, he like I just heard some of his songs. I think I actually heard Saturn from him. Like he played me Saturn, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And like he like talked to me a little bit like how he did it and stuff. Like we weren't super close then. Like now we're like really close.
Like you, him, and
stuff.
Sean.
I'm not really close with Sean, but like Sean at the same time just kind of hates everybody. So like, I don't really know with like Sean. Like he occasionally will occasionally talk. He came to my house like a few times in my entire life, and that's about it.
I envy the fact that you have the opportunity of like meeting up with all of your producer friends, because like I only have like 2 other friends that are producers here in Baltimore, and one is about to go off to the military, and the other one is about to graduate and possibly go to Full Sail. So,
yeah,
like
I'm actually thinking about going to Full Sail. Like I applied and I also got a $20K scholarship from them.
Yeah, like it sucks because you don't know when, like you don't really have any people that collab with in person anymore, and
yeah.
I'm trying to get
Thomas,
Thomas, who only lives 3 hours away from me in fucking Pennsylvania, to come to Baltimore because he's the one that got the car. But no, you just want to stay and get shows with Mustard and shit. But that's cool. That's cool and all. I'm just saying. Like I'm.
Someone's salty.
Very.
But
he's supposed to be on the show sometime.
So like Noah just kind of like he inspired me a lot in terms of like how he showed me stuff. But like I also kind of like my dad saw that like I was getting interested in all that stuff. So like kind of like it was a surprise birthday present. Essentially, like what he got me was like he just got me a bunch of like gear. He got me a launch pad. He got me a launch key, though I never ended up actually taking it home, and he ended up selling it. But like he also got me a what's it called, like a tutor who that was Drew, as I mentioned before. And for like about a month he like taught me like able to just like this does that does this. Here's some ideas in terms of like making music have fun, and I was like, cool.
We're going on the top of Noah for a little bit. My all-time favorite song by Noah is his remix of The Art of Saying Goodbye.
It's kind of difficult for me to determine what my favorite song is from Noah. I gotta say, like, Noah did help out a lot with my song, Laps. Like, he helped out a lot with it.
And like one thing I feel very out of place when it comes to like EDMC and Interval is because I'm the only person that hasn't released anything on the label.
I've only ever released one song on the label. Don't sweat it, dude.
I'm the only person that hasn't released a song on the label, and that's mainly because Troy bitch ass think that, oh, well, your music doesn't necessarily fit the criteria of Interval, and I'm just like, oh, is it fucking rhythm, you fucking dickhead?
Nah, I mean, like, he deadass, like, it's funny, because, like, I submitted, like, Laps to, like, the Lab, which is, like, this one group, they like, listen to music, and I'll tell you, like, if it's good or not, pretty much. But, like, I sent it to them, and they're like, bro, this is fucking amazing, how did you not get this on the label? And it was funny, because, like, I totally asked Troy, like, hey, can you, like, put this on the Interval? And he was like, I don't really like it. And I'm like, what? I was like, boy.
It's like, I was telling that to,
like, it's just kind of funny that, like, he was like, I like Run Home, which I realize now was an absolute trash song, but he didn't like he didn't like Laps for some reason. Oh yeah, there was also Miracle. I totally forgot about that. Miracle was actually a great song, and that definitely deserved actually going on. Because like Troy's very picky, and he also like very specific about what he wants, and it's also the thing is like he wants to have something on it that he likes.
It's just like,
not
and like the
necessarily
thing for
something
me,
that's good. And he's
Yeah.
even said that to me.
and the thing for me is that I love Interval and I love all of you guys, but it seems like everybody there is a fucking rhythm junkie. Like, and that feels like why I can't get anything released, because for a while I wanted to have the Quenda remix EP released on Interval if it didn't work out for Emulsify, and he's saying, "Oh, well, your music doesn't fit the criteria." Like, even though it's good, I even like I told you, I had Kill the Upstart on there, and I'm just like, sometimes you can't necessarily have a specific. I hate labels that have a specific style.
I don't think that's fair. A lot of labels, like I think it's nice to have a label that does kind of pander to a more specific style, or like has like a more specific range of styles. Like there's Night Owl, which they're kind of more about like future stuff, you know.
Like, I don't get mad at people like UKF and Monster Cat and anything like that, but I get mad at the people like Spinning Records, where it's not even just about the music. It's like you have to be the certain type of person. And I remember, I'm not going to disclose who this person is, but they told me about how they had like sent a track into Spinning, and they said that they liked the track. However, they didn't release it on the label, let alone sign him, because of how old he was. And it wasn't because he was too young, it was because he was too old.
Damn. That's just ridiculous.
And like, it's just like, it shouldn't. I don't think music should have an age limit. Like, if you want to be 70-year-old and you want to drop a hard ass trap track, then you can be my guest and do that shit. And like, I just feel like nowadays people are so concerned about the image rather than the music itself.
I got you. Yeah, I feel you.
But let me get into the third question. Dang, we've been like, I like having the podcast with you because you actually hold conversations.
Yeah, I try my best.
I like going back and forth with you because we like either have like interjecting opinions or we can just like go off topic, which is a bit of a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
So question number 4. Who and what inspires you to DJ and produce?
I kind of think I answered that a little bit with Noah, but I suppose there's also
The what?
there's also like a few other things. Like I'd suppose it's kind of gay, but like fucking I love Porter Robinson so much.
Who doesn't, Joe? He's so good.
He's amazing. Like I think what I find especially great about him is the fact that he went from being somebody who made EDM, and you could see the clear transition between EDM to electronic music. And when I say music, I mean like genuine art.
Yeah.
You know?
And my friend, she had went, and you went to his show too. Like,
oh my god, it was amazing. Dude, I was screaming the entire time. I cried at the end. I lost my voice.
yeah, like my friend, I think she was like dead in the front, and
yeah, I was dead in the front too. Like I was dead like a good like 10 feet from Porter. Like I was dead like I could suck his dick from that like this. My boy ain't 10 inches and 10 feet.
And like one thing that she was a little upset about is that throughout the entire tour, everybody was giving Porter this praise, like so much Porter and all this Porter this, Porter that, Porter, and nobody was giving any love to Madeon.
Yeah,
and
I have to say, like, I went there because I love Porter, and I got it. And I'll be honest, I do like Porter more than Madeon, but everybody was talking about Porter more than Madian, and Madian so very much lives in Porter's shadow. However, he kind of let that happen because he essentially grew into Porter's shadow. He was essentially his underling for a long time.
And like they've been best, and like I remember
they've
I
been
was
best
looking at,
friends.
yeah, since they were like 12 years
for a
old.
long time. Like Madian is pretty much Porter Robinson's little brother.
And like she wanted to, like, she openly said like, hey, this is Madion's tour too, and the fact that people aren't giving him enough credit is like sucky. And like his vocals are on that song, and like she told me like he doesn't sing often, but he actually like sung.
He sings really well.
Yeah.
He's a really good singer.
And like it's just sad how like lack of credit he got. Like he didn't get to go to Japan and see, like get any input on the Shouts and music video or nothing. That was all Porter, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I feel like there is a little bit of issues with that. You know, he was. I don't really know. Like, I'm sorry. I kind of lost my train of thought for a moment. I think like Porter, I feel like seems to be a bit more. Like he has a bit more creative lead than Madian. Like I listen to Shelter and I hear more Porter than I hear Madian.
Right.
You know, like I can like it feels more like Porter feat Madian rather than Porter and Madian. You feel me?
Right.
And it's a little bit unfortunate. I don't think it is Porter Robinson's fault, and I don't think it's Madian's fault. I think it's simply the fault that when they were making that song, a lot of Madian's inspiration comes from Porter Robinson, and so there's kind of like a lack of balance there. Like Madian has his own style, but so much of it is inspired from Porter's style. Like
right.
listen to stuff off of Adventure and tell me with a straight face that a lot of the stuff that you hear there are not the same elements you hear in like Easy, you know, or like what was his like other big track before Worlds?
Pop culture.
No, language. I'm talking about Porter Robinson.
Yeah,
like,
it was definitely Language or Sad Machine.
Like Language, no, but I'm saying before Worlds, Language and Easy were like two biggest songs, right? And like you could totally hear the inspiration that transferred over into Adventure because Madian took a lot of his, you know, stylistic elements. Like Porter Robinson had a complete style shift, you know, after like on Worlds, you know. Right. I can't wait until like whatever his second album is. You know, if it's gonna be Worlds 2 or if it's gonna be something completely different.
The one thing that I'm really looking forward to is the day that his weeaboo ass finally gets a tour with Hatsune Miku. Because if Anamanaguchi can get a tour with Hatsune Miku, then he can too.
Yeah.
And like,
you know what's funny?
What?
A little bit of a side note. My sister started dating this dude Stefano. He's this chill dude, but anyways, this dude, for no reason whatsoever, happens to know the front man of Anamanaguchi. Like legit. Like it's ridiculous. He knows Peter Berkman.
I love Anamanaguchi with a fucking passion. And the reason my love for them immediately came from the Scott Pilgrim video game. Because they did all of the music for it.
And then Endless Fantasy is fantastic. I have it on vinyl.
I think my favorite song was Merry Christmas, Mr. Something. I hate that I forget the name of songs, but like I know what they sound like.
Yeah. But kind of
Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Kind of coming a little bit back to the original question you were asking. I feel like another inspiration I have very much is like, you know, classic rock and psychedelic rock. I find a lot of inspiration from like Pink Floyd. Like A Saucer Full of Secrets is such a huge inspiration for me for the fact that there's so much like interesting stereo work and a lot of interesting like styles that kind of work in it. The fact that like, for example, on like the song "Remember a Day," it kind of like it's like every few seconds there's something new happening, and it kind of shifts gently over time into a different sound and a different style. And like the way that the like voice is recorded, it feels like it kind of is coming in and out, like almost like a wave, you know.
Right.
A lot of those elements that came from that really inspired me when I made Laps with Noah. Noah's also a huge fan of Pink Floyd, so I think we both had the same idea, even though we didn't say it to each other. We kind of had that same idea, and that's what really came into it in Laps.
I think my two biggest non-electronic inspirations would have to be between Gautier and Tor Yimwa. And Gautier, I feel like, is so underrated, and everybody sees him as a one-hit wonder because of somebody that I used to know. But if you listen to the whole Smoke and Mirrors album and then some, like, you'll see that he's more than that. Like, he has songs in music video and like he has songs and music videos that will like make you cry. Like, it was like he's like such an influence. Like, the people he gets to create his videos are so talented, and I wish he got a lot more credit than he has now.
Yeah. I really haven't listened to a lot of his stuff, but I have to say, on a side note, MGMT I feel like is underrated past their first album. Like, Congratulations is one of the most underrated albums of all time. The fact that like they got totally panned for Congratulations, even though like it is such a beautiful album. Like, I listen to it and I feel like I listen to it and I'm like, why does MGMT make me feel like I'm listening to David Bowie right now? Like,
sometimes like I feel like
why is it that like I'm listening to Andrew singing and I feel like he sounds like David Bowie? Like, there's a lot of the style and like the ideas from that comes over to it.
I feel like sometimes this is a sign that they probably need to collab, but I always had the tendency to get MGMT and M83 mixed up. And I love M83 because they had the aesthetic feel before Vaporwave was cool.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite song is I'm Crying and I'm Making a Sea Full of Tears or something like that. And then my other favorite is Wait. And I love the impact that the music makes. Like, when you listen to it, it's just like you feel like running up to your girlfriend and just like kissing them and like that type of shit. It's just like you feel like you want to fly. Like, not as in like you're high and you want to, and like you, oh, look at me, I'm flying. But like you want to just fucking soar and like do something motivational and like just love life or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, MGMT has so many amazing songs from all of their albums. Like, there's Time to Pretend, there's Kids, there's Flash Delirium, Congratulations,
Speaking of kids,
Alien Days, Cool Song Number 2. Like, there's so many hits from every single song, from every single album, even if they aren't stuff that went onto the radio. Though at the same time, like, on their first album, they had 3 radio songs. Like, that's amazing. The fact that MGMT managed to have 3 radio hits in one album.
Speaking of kids, though, I need to address somebody by the name of Gazzo, who like a personal friend of mine, that I think me and him read each other's minds without knowing it, because anytime I want to remix a song, he remixes it. Like, he remixes it before me, and we don't even contact each other about it. We just know. And because me and a friend of mine, we were gonna remix Cool Kids, that other old pop indie song, and then he comes out with a remix of Cool Kids. I was gonna make a future based remix of Kids, and he comes out with this like the ultra-esque EDM, not Big Room House, but like the Z-esque remix of Kids, and I'm just like, he's like stealing my ideas and he doesn't even know. Like it's just like it makes you feel less of a person who's just like, oh, I don't even want to do this remix no more. Like, because like he knocked it.
Yeah, like when I listen to yeah, like there's certain remixes I listen to and like sometimes they're even better than like the original song, bro. And I'm like, boy. I think like one in particular is the Ben Maxwell and Slopes remix of Better from Sweater Beats. Like the original song is great, but the remix is like insanely good. It's funny because like the remix has way more plays than the original song. Like the remix has 1.2 million plays. Better, like the original song by Sweater Beats, has only 532,000.
I honestly feel like Control Freak's remix of Better by Vendetta and Mihai was a lot better than the original. And like, well, I can't even go into like how he did that, but it was pretty dope. And plus his video of him like performing it was pretty dope too. But let me get into the fifth question because like we haven't even gotten to question 5 and like we're already at an hour.
And then yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do you feel like the EDM scene has become more divided or united in the past year?
That's a difficult question. I feel like in many ways there are a lot of great facets for people to connect and get close to one another. Right. In the EDM scene, like there's so many great Facebook groups and so many great like communities and stuff that do exist and do very much promote like that sort of, you know, connectivity. But at the same time, we have these like this year in particular, I'm pretty sure like everybody's noticed this. There's all these like really shitty like companies coming out and like just doing just like they're trying to be like the next Vengeance or like whatever, you know, like there's
subgenres.
Yeah, and like there's like let's start listing stuff down. There's like you know, Cymatic started, and then there was like Antidote came after, then like Foxwave with their one button
one knob.
Like
that made me so mad when that came out.
I was
and my trap producer friend, he was like, he talking about, oh, it's not a big deal to us. And yes, it is a big fucking deal because that's just like taking the originality out of production and like the complexity and like plugins like that and like VSTs like that are the reason people saying that, oh, making EDM is so fucking easy. Like,
yeah, like,
and they knew.
Like Sausage Boy, fucking Sausage Fattener does more than that shit.
And they knew, the people that made that fucking knew that this program was like so easy because they were deleting comments that were basically criticizing it. Not even just saying, oh, this plugin sucks, but just like literally criticizing the plugin itself. And it's just like, you know, this is bad. And they said. And then they made the obligatory "fuck the haters" post, and it's just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hate it. I was so angry when that plugin came out.
Like all the Cymatics and then like definitely not Cymatics people that came after is just it's stupid. Like some of them are cool. Like the people at Antidote, I gotta say, are pretty chill. Like Anton Antidote, like he's pretty chill. But then again, like the amount of times where I've been put into like a random Facebook group by him, and I'm like, why this?
Who was it?
A little bit. Anton Antidote.
I don't know who that is.
That's the dude who runs Antidote Audio. That's like one of the not Cymatics people.
I know one.
I gotta say, I gotta say, a lot of the people in those other things are generally not too bad, but like
I think Acolyte, they're pretty good, especially with that Pokemon.
Acolyte is pretty good.
Like the Pokemon Wavetable pack they came out with, like that was fire. Like.
Yeah, that was great. Like, but then you get stuff like, you know, Foxwave making them just shitty one knob plugins, and then, you know, Cymatics itself totally ripping people off, and like, you know, totally not copying side projects samples. That was really funny.
Totally
They
not,
just-
totally
when they
not
stole-
stealing from Getter and doing it shittily at that. And granted, I'm still mad at Getter for what he did. However, it wasn't even blatant. Like, you can't try to recreate an artist's style and get it completely wrong. Every single tutorial they do where they're trying to recreate a sample, recreate a sample or recreate a synth from a famous artist, it is always inaccurate. It is like 100% inaccurate. It's not even like trying. And I've seen I've looked at amateur tutorials that have gotten Getter sound down packed more than Cymatics themselves. And I pray to God that those amateurs don't fall under Cymatics' trap and like have them and like create music for them, because they're gonna get fucked over just like Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like. I don't have like the best things to say about Thomas in certain aspects, but like in general, I think Thomas was totally, fucked over from what happened with Cymatics, and that was totally unfair. Like, just the way they treated him, it was horrible. All the stuff that happened with Cymatics in general. Cymatics was just a trash, like, totally trash thing. Another good one that's not very well known is Skiphonics. Not a lot of people know them, but I've used a bunch of their, like, they helped me get more into, like, future bass production and stuff like that. They have, like, a million just free sample packs that have so much content in them. It's great. And even their, like, paid sample packs are super cheap. Like, most of them are, like, $5-10, and they have, like, a crap load of stuff in them.
Evolution of
it's,
Sound,
like, really good quality stuff.
like my two other favorites are Evolution of Sound and Vandalism. You know who Evolution of Sound is, right?
Not really.
You know who Zen World is on YouTube?
No, I don't really. I gotta
Luna!
say, I don't really like watch.
I'm sorry, my cat is like, she's like on my inflatable sofa and like she keeps trying to scratch it.
It's fun, but I don't really like watch very many people on YouTube and stuff. Like, I don't really watch many YouTube tutorials in general. So that's me at least. Yeah, I guess that's it for that though.
Okay.
So I think to tie it all up, the scene has gotten both better and worse for many different reasons. The fact that, there's always going to be assholes in anything, but there's also going to be a lot of great people that make a community both great and shitty.
Right.
So I feel like it's pretty consistent with many other groups. I think it's just because of the fact that a lot of people who are into EDM groups don't really go outside many other groups. They only see the bad shit of our group and don't see the bad shit of other groups.
Right. And for question 6, where did your name come from?
That I have only a very good memory of. So my original name was Exodus, and then I realized that was a really shitty name. I started working with this one dude. He fell off the face of the earth. Like, he just stopped talking to me one day. Totally just disappeared. Like, his Facebook disappeared and everything. It was really weird. Like, he didn't say anything to me beforehand. But anyway, it was this one dude, Skidrow. I forgot, like, his real name. Even if I go on his, like, his thing, like, the last thing he did was, like, repost one of the songs that we did together. But essentially, Fayzd at first was me and him.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the songs were pretty, like, crappy, but I have to say I do appreciate him for the fact that he did help me with a lot of, like, initial stuff, with figuring out the initial, like, and kind of helped push me forward. And then he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. It was funny. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's just me being Fayzd now. And so I stick with being Fayzd, and it's changed a lot since then, I gotta say. So
You say as much as I say like.
Yeah, I know. I have that issue, but I've considered changing my name quite a few times in the past, but like anything I come up with, it's like I don't feel like it represents me good enough. I don't really like anything good enough.
Right.
Nothing really fits me. So I'm just kind of sticking with what I have right now. I think it's a good enough name. I think it still kind of represents me in my own way, but I think it's also a little bit of a cheesy name, and I think I might eventually want to change it. Your name's pretty straightforward. Your real name's just Austin Jett, so Ajett, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, like a lot of people that don't know me, like they'll run up to me after a set, let's say, "Hey, what's your name?" I say, "Ajett." AJ, Ajett, A Jeff, Ajett, and like that's why, and I felt like that's why I needed to get the hat, because like I needed to have something with my name on it so people can see like, yeah, this is my name. You don't have to misspell it every single time, and I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, because even in middle school, one of my teachers, they were saying like, you have a really cool name, and I hope you do something with it one day, because like Jett is such a rare last name, especially for black people, let alone Austin. So everybody was saying like, you sound like your name makes you sound like a movie star, and I already got enough of that shit because I was always called Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin Powers, Austin Jet Li, AJ the Jet Plane. I'm just like, I got like, and I'm guessing that just kind of like it kind of conformed into itself.
Yeah.
With Ajett.
Well, what I must say is my name is kind of interesting because pretty much nobody outside of my extended family has my last name. I did like a full there's way that you can do like etymology research and stuff like that. But basically there's only about 200 people with my last name, and all of them are directly related to me.
Right.
So my name is very unique for the fact that there's only about 200 people in the entire world who have my name, all of which live in New York, Moldova, and Israel, which is where all of my family is from. So it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And my mom's last name is also super rare too. It's like only a few people outside of her family have that same last name. So it's funny, I have a very unique last name. There's interestingly enough, another person whose name is Aaron Vinnick. And there's also a teacher in my school whose name was Vinnick. So there's like a few people who are outside my family, but total like
I think there's only like there's like 3 other Austin Jetts that I know. There's like a skier named Austin Jett, and then another person named Austin Jett actually like randomly messaged me out of nowhere saying, "Dude, I gotta have that hat," like because like my profile picture is my hat, and he was like, "Dude, I gotta have that hat," and I'm just like, I can't sell them yet. So it made me a little happy that a random Austin Jett was just like, "Hey, can I buy one of your hats?" And then I'd open the shirt and I'd like open up the store for the shirts, and he bought both of them. I'm just like, dude.
Damn, that's funny. It's it's also really funny. There's also another dude with my name, Aaron Vinnick. And he researches. He's a doctor. He does like research with like diabetes and stuff. Yes. Yeah. I was born with insulin resistance, which is a form of diabetes. Ain't that just a coinkadink? It's a little funny, but yeah. I think that's about it for names.
All right. So
not much else to say.
We got like 4 more questions. So
awesome.
Question 7 is: do you have any bigger goals in regards to how far you want to go with your music?
I kind of it's interesting because like I'm gonna go into college for like music production, sound design. So with that, it's interesting because there's a lot of paths I could take. I could end up working at a video game company for making music. I could be doing scores and stuff, or I can be like working at an actual studio making actual music. That's like goes on the radio or some shit. It's there's nothing that I know exactly I'm going to do. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in my future. I have a few ideas of where I might go, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in my future. That's impossible, honestly, especially in this field. This field is such a broad and large field that there's so much for you to do. You don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
But I think that's also a little bit of a benefit to it, is the fact that my job is never going to be taken over by robots, you know? Like, you can't replace me with a robot, and I'm going to be necessary for just about everything, you know?
Right.
When I'm in that field, and I like that very much, that I know that I am somebody who's going to be necessary, and somebody who's, you know, whether or not it's people who know my name, I know I'm going to make an impact in terms of, you know, what, you know, the final product of anything is released like. Because, you know, if I produce, you know, if I create the music on a video game, you know, I'm the one who, you know, helps make those, you know, tense scenes so tense and stuff like that, you know. It's if you didn't have that music, it'd be really empty and awkward. But anyways, like, I think, like, I guess in terms of, like, a reach goal, something that, like, is like, oh, yeah, that'd be
like,
cool if I could end up doing it.
going...
It's like something a little bit more like Skrillex type, like, you know, ending up having, like, my own label and really, like, being able to bring artists up and bring other people, you know, up where, you know, I wish I had that. I wish I had that opportunity, you know. And I feel like that is growing more. And I really appreciate that, but I want to have people who, you know, I want to see genuine talent grow when they can earlier on, you know. You know, people, you know, I want to, if I could make the next Porter Robinson, if I could help incite the next Median, you know, that's such an achievement to me. That feels better than even producing music itself, I think. You know, creating an artist, you know, creating a name. I feel like that's such an empowering thing, not only for you, but for the people that you do that to. And I think that's such a fantastic thing, doing such a selfless and powerful act, you know.
And, like, even my mentor at Lost Habit, he currently goes to Full Sail, and, like, he's telling me about all the internships that he's gotten and, like, how fun the projects are, and, like, how he's pretty much applauded for the fact that he came in with musical experience. And the beginners that think that, like, the beginners that actually go to the music production class, they have this assumption that they're gonna go there and become the next Skrillex through college. And, like, he hates that there's, like, a lot of, like, those snobby kids that just think that, like, oh, if I go to school for this, then maybe I can just be an EDM superstar. And I'm just like, it doesn't work that way. It's a lot harder than you think. It's not about, oh, having to learn, like, because you could DJ and produce on Ultra Music Festival level and still only have one follower on SoundCloud for the rest of your life. Because, like, that's the one thing that's so fucked about the EDM scene, is that it's mainly about the people you know. It's
all about having friends in high places, but not only that, but also
it's like
having
25%.
people who know you. It's people who remember you, who are like, yeah, I remember that dude Aaron. Like, if you know Skrillex, that ain't shit. Unless Skrillex says, yeah, that Aaron dude, he's fucking awesome. You know, like, that's what matters at the end of the day. When people know your name rather than who you know.
Right. Like, it's like 25% talent and 75% you just gotta know the right people.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's certainly very important for who you know, but I think it's also even more important if you're able to consistently show your prowess. You know, like.
And
I
mean, because, like, the reason I say so is because
no, because, like, sorry to, you know, totally cut you off, but, like, how it is like, say I'm like, you know, I'm a musician and I'm, you know, I produce a track for, like, this one rapper, he, you know, makes an album and that song ends up becoming a radio hit, and maybe that song even goes gold. Then that song goes platinum. Then it's like, wow, that song just went platinum. Guess whose name is on it?
right.
It's me. My name is on that. Guess what's gonna happen to me tomorrow? I'm gonna get 20 calls, you know, in a span of an hour, asking me to produce for some big time person. Next thing I know, I'm making music for Rihanna. I'm getting a 40% cut out of $1 million.
Right.
For one album. That's that's where the money comes in. That's why DJ Khaled is so rich, and you never heard his name before until like a few years ago. It's the fact that he essentially just produced for big names, and he got so much money out of it, and some people didn't even know who he was. Like I think that's one issue with that's an issue that I have with like a lot of music related stuff and musicians, is that producers are very often not properly credited, if they are even credited at all.
Right.
It can be so easily solved, and I really wish it was, but it's hopefully someday there's more accreditation towards the people who deserve it.
Right.
But that's there's the people who will know you when you produce a track are the people who are in the industry and are the ones who see the full credits, not just the name on the cover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go on to question 8. This should be an easy one. Current highlight of your career?
I'd say that right now, like, my favorite song that I've ever done, without a doubt, is Laps. Laps is, I've talked about it so many times today, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to tell by now.
Right. It makes me want to go, like, stop the podcast and listen to it. But I'll probably like, put it in the video.
Yeah, you can put it just in the video, maybe in the background a little bit. But, like, the amount of work I put into that song is insane. It was nearly 50 tracks, raw. It took us, like, because I worked on it with Noah, it took us, like, half a year to make. There was so much work and effort put into it.
I still think my favorite song by you has to be Game Over, because especially because I get the opportunity to remix that.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you can always, if you want, remix plenty of my other music. Just ask me, and I'll send you steps. I'm organized in terms of, like, projects and stuff. I have all my projects preserved.
Right.
I have also all of them saved online and too. So if anything happens to my computer, I don't end up losing anything.
One thing I do wish, though, is that there were more remix competitions than there were artists just paying this artist to remix their track, because I feel like it would give more opportunity to put, like, a lot of artists on on the rise. Like, and don't get me wrong, none of the remixes are bad, depending on, like, what type of remix EP it is, except for the fucking the Killa remix EP. That shit was fucking garbage, aside from Slushy's remix. But like,
I didn't really listen to much of that though.
Yeah, like, cause I'm the Skrillex junkie, so I'll listen to any of the remix EPs that come out, and I loved a lot of the Recess remix EPs, like, cause, like, there was a bunch of remix EPs that came out from songs on Recess, but that was the only remix EP that I really hated, except for one song, and that was Slushy's remix, and it was so disappointing, because you paid these people to remix this, and you approved it, so it's just like, what do you do when someone gives you a shit product, and you already paid them in advance for it?
Yeah. I would say, like, best remix EP, remix LP, is Porter Robinson's World's remix. It's insane. Every song on it is good.
The Sad
Every
Machine.
single song on it.
The Sad Machine remix. I think it was one Sad Machine remix. It's the drum and bass one, and it is my all-time favorite one. And Keizo plays it in his sets all the time.
Is that the Tut Tut Child remix?
I think so, or the Sushi Killer remix, I believe.
Yeah. Because Tata Child did like a Liquid D&B remix of that song. Yeah, not quite sure.
And question number 9 is DAW of choice and your favorite VSTs.
Ableton. I feel like Ableton is the strongest and the simplest at the same time. It's really easy to get into, but there's so much power and so much things open to you in it. In terms of favorite VSTs, I'll just shorten it to 2. Serum. Serum, just you can do anything in it. It's great. I know like pretty much everybody uses Serum at this point, but that's
Yeah,
for
I feel
a reason, you know?
like anytime I ask this question, Serum is going to be a popular one.
Yeah, because like Serum is like the first of its kind. It allowed us to do so much more. Like it allowed us to do stuff that Flume did. It allowed us to do stuff that like Skrillex did years ago. You know, there was so much more restriction on that beforehand. You know, so many VSTs just simply did not deliver on that. There's that, and there's also Isotope Ozone 7. Well, anything, you know, Ozone in general. Ozone's just, it's a fantastic plugin. It helps streamline mastering so well. There's also presets that you can use to kind of base your masters off of. It gives you so much power, and it really, like, whenever you're, like, confused, like, oh, what does this knob do? Like, it's really easy to figure out. It tells you exactly what it does, and then there's always, like, a help bar, too, and whatnot. Which is great, and it makes it a lot easier to master stuff. So, I pretty much on any track I have my mixing chain on the master, and then I have my actual I have Ozone.
Right. I feel like because I can't afford Ozone, and like I had Ozone for a little bit, and it just seemed a lot more complicated to me when it came to like mixing tracks down and shit. But I much prefer.
It's not for mix though. It's not for mixing. Mixing. You should do that with an actual like effects chain and stuff like that.
Like, cause my favorite VST in FL Studio has to be 3D Parametric EQ2 and 3S Oscillator, cause 3S Oscillator is my go-to for like white noise and like risers and shit, and like you can pretty much take 3S Osc and then put it into the 3D Wave Shaper and then make a synth out of that, or then you can just like Camel Crush it and make some sort of distortion sound. Like you can pretty much do anything out of 3S Oscillator, and it's kind of like the baby Serum.
Yeah. I very much feel that the chord, like the sound, like the saw that comes with Serum is so great, and I feel like 3S Oscillator does a pretty similar job.
Right.
I don't think it does it as well, but it does it pretty damn well. It does it pretty close to what Serum can do. So if I was somebody who used FL, I'd probably very often be using 3X Oscillator.
Right.
Yeah.
And for question 10, words to upcoming DJs and producers who have their own doubts and struggles.
I'll say for like a very long time, and even occasionally now, I have like a lot of like I'll doubt myself. I'll be like, am I really that good? Is anything that I do like anything genuinely like listenable, like enjoyable, like somebody could actually sit down and like listen to this track all the way through and be like, wow, I want to listen to that all the way again.
Right.
Like that's usually my baseline for music. So I guess a few pointers is number 1. Would you listen to it yourself? Number 2, when you listen to it, do you want to listen to it again? Number 3, do you feel like it achieves, your goal with that song? I feel like there should always be a motif.
Not only that, but especially if
every song that needs a motif, even if you don't know exactly specifically what that motif is when you're first making that song, as over time you might develop a motif, but there should certainly be a very solid motif in your head by the time you hit that export button, you know?
And I feel like the other thing, if you're a DJ, is just the question is like, would you play this in a set? And
Yeah.
I've always had that lack of confidence in my music up until like when I had played at Get Hard with Searle, and I had played the Quinta remix, the Quinta VIP, and it went off, and like even I was in shock by how the crowd reacted to it, and it's just like seeing somebody actually appreciate your music like that is appalling. Like you, especially like if you have like really bad anxiety, like you don't necessarily.
Oh yeah, I feel
like,
you totally.
Like you don't necessarily, you feel like people are going to respond to this track like as if, oh, it sucks, play something else, and the fact that I got such of a reaction from the crowd, like it was amazing.
Yeah, like I know there was a few times I submitted stuff to the lab, and I was watching their like feedback sessions and stuff, and I remember like I think the best time that ever happened was I sent them laps, and they were getting ready to play it, and they're like, oh, this looks interesting, and I felt so nervous, like I felt like this pit in my chest. I was like, oh my god, what if they hate it? They listened to it. They did not cut through it at all. They listened to it all the way through, and they like had a full stop afterwards. And my dude looked into the camera and said, "This was perfect. I don't have anything to say about this song because it's just perfect. This is the best song I've listened to all night." That's what he said, and it felt so good.
Like that was kind of how it was when I had I sent an unreleased track to Dimmer. You don't know who Sharkoffs is because like he used to be Sharkoffs, and he played it on a live stream, and like I was expecting him to say it was trash because for starters, like I had like sent it into his messages rather than putting it in the comment section beforehand. So at first I thought he was never going to listen to it. Then he was like he was saying like Austin's been driving me fucking crazy like for the past week, and that brought me down a little bit even more. And then he starts like talking like, dude, you put it in a zippy share, like come on now, and it made me feel even lower. But then we actually listened to the track, and he was just like, holy shit, this is fucking good. And the only thing he said that like he felt like the lead drop was a little muddy, but it was like it felt really good, like knowing like somebody that you looked up to and aspire to be like musically is actually like saying like, oh, your shit is fucking good. And it was the same thing with when Frank Jav C was just like applauding the fuck out of my Future Bass remix of I Don't Want to Know.
Yeah. I totally feel you on that. So I'd say going back overall, really like the most important thing is like number one, try your best not to doubt yourself. It's hard to say don't doubt yourself because you're definitely gonna doubt yourself. I know I still doubt myself. I'm pretty sure I'd bet $20 that if I managed to talk to Porter Robinson and I asked him, do you ever doubt yourself? He's gonna be hell fucking yeah, I doubt myself. And number two is if you cannot find inspiration, go seek it through other mediums. So I know it's harder for other people, for certain people, like if you live in a small town and stuff, but like, you know, go and, you know, walk around in nature, or like go and see, you know, a show or something, go to a museum, you know, like so many ways that you really like, you know, sort of like meditate in your, like in a way, like it's not actually meditation, but like you're meditating and you're kind of bringing out this creativity, and you know, then you can get inspired and really, you know, come back, sit down in front of your computer and do something good. I'd say those are the two most important things that you should always keep in mind. And overall, don't be scared whenever you don't feel good about something. Don't be afraid to simply just drop the song if you don't like what's going on with it. Like just say like, this isn't working out, whatever, I'm just going to drop this project.
Yeah, like you can't necessarily get mad. Like not necessarily get mad. Like I remember I had posted like this old deep house track that I had made, and like it was like a sample, and like and I put it on SoundCloud saying, "Hey, should I finish this?" And like it got a seemingly good perception. Like my teacher that used to run the DJ club that I worked at, that I went to, he was saying, "Well, in my opinion, you probably should finish like all of your projects because it's just like you shouldn't give up on one project, but at the same time, it's just like sometimes that producer's block goes on for a little too long to the point where you just like you don't know if working on this track is worth it.
It's not worth wasting your time on it.
Right.
It's not worth wasting your time on it. Yeah. Work on something different. That's it.
Anything you want to say, like plugs or like social plugs that you want to because you can promote yourself as much as you want.
I mean, follow me on the SoundCloud, but it's gonna be in the description anyways. I'm also gonna say a little bit of a shout out to people at the 1916. That includes Danny, aka X3, who was on the show before. Cameron, aka Sunpei. There's so many other people on 1916, but like those are the two people I know the best. And 1960 is a great collective. They have so much great music. I'll also say as a side note, I had a recent song that I released just a few days ago, last Friday. It's more of a piano piece. It's not really electronic, but it has some electronic elements to it. And I'm working on an EP right now. That song is going to be the intro to the EP, and the EP is going to be a lot more based on like it's going to have some future elements, but it's also going to have some more like organic elements to it too. That's kind of what I was going for. That song kind of exemplifying. My EP is in the works, and it will probably be out by the end of February or early March. So that's a bit about it for me plugging. I don't really have anything else, but that was a great conversation. I hope if whoever ends up listening to it does get something out of it. It's nice talking to you, and it's also nice
yeah, because this is
like
as of
about stuff.
yeah, like as of right now, this is our longest podcast, and I've done 3, and that was like the pilot one back on the Digital Gamers Network channel with Lost Habit, and I might do one with him again, but. I like having conversations with you, and eventually like I do want to have you like on my channel more often, because like I do want to start doing like other videos, not just these, where like I'm kind of like collabing with other producers, like because I posted that one thing for that was like a inspiration to the collab wars that we did like a couple years back.
Oh my god, I remember collab wars. I remember
that was a fucking nightmare. So well. That was such a nightmare.
I put that shit really well together, but like people just don't work.
Like,
my group was
crazy?
Like the only group that actually had something. It was ridiculous.
We all had ideas, and no one actually tried. But what was crazy is that when we completely canceled the project, I took what I had made. And originally because we got dubstep. Our group got dubstep, and I made something, and like since we canceled the project, I didn't send it into the group, and like I turned that into Quinda.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and there's just like maybe this like that was like one of the prime examples of this failure turning into a success.
Yeah, I got you.
But thank you for being on the show, Aaron. I can't wait to have you on here. Yeah, I can't wait to have you on here again. But this has been another episode of an Ajett Conversation. I will put Aaron and my links in the description for your viewing pleasure. This is Ajett and Fayzd signing out.